All those in the second half of the 8, of course, have to improve their times. We halve the field each time. And one imagines that Malcolm Stewart, Rodney Millen, and perhaps Inkitalik are going to get quicker. So those down around like Barry Robinson in 7th and 8th fastest qualifying positions really need a bigger improvement.
Barry Robinson has got it really going here today. Wasting no time at all coming out of the corners.
He was 42 dead to the top of the hill last time.
41.34. Barry Robinson is traditionally quick down the hill. Hello, he's got a problem here. Now that could spell a finish for Barry Robinson. Problem with his gearbox or the like. Coming out of that hairpin at the top.
Just wonder if they might have bent another half shaft.
No, he's going again now.
Oh, bad luck for Barry Robinson, because 1:10.57, unless there are drastic, dire happenings occurring to all the other drivers, is not going to be anywhere near fast enough.
That's a gear change.
Barry Robinson will know that that's not quick enough to get him any further, and he might as well load it on the trailer and go home. Rodney Millen on the line now. Rodney Millen, the second fastest qualifier, with 1:06.44. And a very quick time to the top for Rodney Millen last time too, 41.08.
So Rodney makes up a lot of time in this next series of corners, Tony. You watch him through here. When I rode with him yesterday, he was very, very neat and quick. Now, just this section through here is where I think he makes up a lot of time. Keeps it straight through those corners. A bit wide that time, though.
Lost a little bit of time there, I think.
Because Rodney won't be happy with that.
41.82, and last time it was 41.08, so just slightly not really enough to worry about. He should come out on about the same time. Rodney Millen, the hallmark of his driving when he was in New Zealand was always the smoothness with which he drove. A lot of other drivers around going as fast, but not as smoothly. 1:07.47. Well, he won't be terribly happy, and quite a colourful exhaust on the way down. 1:07.47 for Rodney Millen.
Yes, that time could be a borderline time, Tony.
It's what the nature of this event is. It's really comes down to pressure. Each consecutive round, you've got to get going quicker. Now, in all theory, or looking at all the specifications of all the cars on paper, Malcolm Stewart really should be a clear winner.
Malcolm is looking for a split time to the top of around the 39 seconds that he did last time.
Despite my juxtaposition yesterday, this, of course, is an international four-wheel drive rally car in Group B specs, and Possum-born Subaru is a Group A car. But this is as good as you can buy in the world rallying scene at the moment. 39.06, so again he's to the top of the hill in under 40 seconds. He's the only man that has ever done it on this course.
Bear in mind that the course record set by Reg Cook in 1984, 1 minute 4.96. Be interesting to see if Malcolm Stewart can knock that time off today.
And that was set in a circuit car, two-wheel drive, not four-wheel drive. 1:06.08, so he's going slower. That's good news for Rodney Millen, because I think Rodney Millen's 1:07.47 will get him in now. I had expected Malcolm Stewart perhaps to go under 1:05 then, which really would have put the pressure on everybody else, but it's coming slowly for Malcolm Stewart in the four-wheel drive Audi Quattro. Neil Allport now, the 5th fastest qualifier.
Regular watchers of the Ashley Forest Rallysprint will notice that this time the track is a bit damper. There's no dust, and for this reason, at this year's event, we've not had the problem with the drivers have of wondering which tyres to use. It's clearly a day for using the M&S knobbly rally type tyres rather than the racing tyres.
It's strange, though, discussing this yesterday, Mike, that a lot of those who have used A2s in the past in the second and third rounds have come back to M&Ss for the final.
Yes, it would seem that on this circuit that the M&S is probably the best tyre in most conditions.
40.83 is a very quick time to the top for Neil Allport in the two-wheel drive RX-7. I think that's the quickest we've seen in a two-wheel drive car. 40.83 to the top. Remember, only Malcolm Stewart has gone under 40 seconds.
It's Neil's previous time of 17.32 looks like he'll better that quite comfortably.
16.24. Well,
16.24.
There's a few turn-ups here. Never underestimate Neil Allport's ability to go quicker. He has always been very good at rally sprints for that reason. He can go up and take more time off, and when the pressure's on, he responds beautifully. Inkitalik on the line now. Inkitalik, third fastest qualifier. The quickest escort by a country mile. And that time that Inkitalik turned in last round of 1675, that really is an excellent time for an escort.
You'll notice when the cars get away from the line at the moment, Tony, even the escorts are bogging down. They're not wheel spinning at all. The traction away from the line at the moment is extremely good. And the four-wheel drive Quattro won't be having the advantage that you'd normally expect of it.
Quoting some times from previous years, the 1980 rally sprint was actually won in 1:10.81, which was about the cut-off point for the slowest of the 16 this year. That's the improvement over the years. 41.45 to the top for Inkitalik. That's an improvement for him, I think, too. We'll just check through his other time. 41.55. So it's a tenth quicker to the top. And he's certainly coming down quicker than he was yesterday. 1709.
1709.
So just slightly quicker than Rodney Millen at 1747. At the moment it goes Malcolm Stewart 1608, Neil Allport 1624, Rodney Millen 1747. Sorry, the other way round. Inkitalik 1709, and then Rod Millen 1747.
Now, just looking at the situation at the moment, Tony, Rod Millen at 1747 is the fourth fastest qualifier. So he's
that's the cut-off. That's the cut-off point.
That is the cut-off point. If anyone goes quicker than 1747, Rod Millen will be out. Two people capable of doing this: Kim Austin and Trevor Crowe in their hybrid V8 powered cars.
Kim Austin getting traction on the ground very well, getting that big talking 308 Holden V8 wound up. Kim Austin has surprised a lot of people here.
He's got enough power to do a quicker time than he's done in the past.
He was sixth fastest qualifier with 1750.
Kim Austin breaks 41 seconds to the top. Rod Millen is in trouble, and I think that Rod Millen could be in trouble with a time of 40.7 to the top.
40.7 is phenomenally fast. That's a lot of that's to do with the horsepower up the hill, but bear in mind that these Chevettes have traditionally always been faster downhill than up. That's the time to beat. 1747 belongs to Rod Millen. That's the cutoff. 1616. Rodney Millen's out. Wow, Kim Austin's in at the moment. Remains to be seen if Gary Smith can go quicker. I would doubt it. 1:07.09 is Inkitalik's time, and that's the cutoff at the moment in the same car as Gary Smith's about to go up and down.
good start for Gary Smith. Clean out of the chute there.
Which means he's got about 1.44 time.
With a previous best time of 1:7.89, it's also quite possible that Gary Smith can qualify. His previous best time to the top of the hill, 41.8. No, he's lost a bit.
Lost a bit on the exit too.
He's coupled with that mistake at the top. It's quite sure that Gary Smith will be eliminated.
I think that's waved goodbye to Gary Smith, but Kim Austin's in. Malcolm Stewart is in. Neil Allport is in.
Trevor Crowe yet to run.
Gary Smith's out. So there's the cutoff, 1:7.09. Rodney Millen out. And still Malcolm Stewart, the man to beat in terms of times. A good effort from Gary Smith. Not a particularly experienced driver. A very experienced co-driver. Here's Trevor Crowe, the last one with a chance to make it into the next round of 4. He said before it started he'd be happy with making the round of 8. Anything else was a bonus. A little bit of trouble with wheel spin.
But a rooster tail of dirt coming up like a jet boat, Tony.
Good horsepower he gets out of this. What is essentially about a 20-year-old engine. The Oldsmobile, 4.2 litre. This one is 4.5 litre. 44.5's quick. He got it out of it all right too. It looked as though he might have just overdone it on the hairpin, but he got out quite safely. 1:7.09.
Previous time for Trevor Crowe, 1:6.92.
We know he's capable of it. He's getting down the hill quick. 1:5.36.
Fastest time so far.
Woohoo! Trevor Crowe in the build-up circuit car that really has changed very little to come here to the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. Well, that's just continuing Reg Cook's theories of the last 2 or 3 years. You can do it in a hybrid, you can do it in a circuit car. Into the semi-final now. The first up is Malcolm Stewart in the Audi Quattro 4-wheel drive, and one of the problems they've had with the 4-wheel drive cars, the two of them here at this year's event, is that they've had to modify the starting system. It's normally a hockey stick that just gets depressed under the front wheel, but of course the front wheels are driving as well in the Audi, so we have a little wand stuck on the end. They modified the system last night, and as they go past, it triggered it. They saw the start triggered, but it didn't work on that occasion. Still a few teething problems. Red light for a false start, and Malcolm Stewart will have to come back again. They had some problems yesterday with the front wheels running over and, of course, driving, and they just skewed the hockey stick so that it wouldn't start and give a pulse.
Now, Malcolm Stewart has a problem reversing this car with the big oil cooler in the rear spoiler. Can't see a thing. He's looking in his mirrors here as he comes backwards. Yep.
I guess he'd have got some practice on the farm from backing tractors and trailers, wouldn't he?
That's right. Now here's another problem that's just cropped up. The clouds have gone up the top of the hill and the sun is out. We've seen on previous years that as you approach the top hairpin, the sun is right in the driver's eyes later in the afternoon.
And it's not always the same for everybody. Obviously, some cars are better suited to that problem than others. Tony Teasdale was explaining to us a while ago that the Nissan 240 RS has such a steep rake on the windscreen that the glare doesn't become as much of a problem as it does in some of the other cars with a straight up and down windscreen. But when you get up to the top, approaching that hairpin, it is almost blinding. You virtually can't see a thing. And if somebody gets a run when there are clouds there and the next person gets a run with the sun, that is a distinct advantage.
Now that's a problem for Malcolm Stewart.
Well, we said at the start of this round that what it comes down to now is who responds to pressure. Now, Malcolm Stewart has enough pressure on him in getting to grips with a new car. The pressure that becomes evident on drivers when they get down to the semi and quarterfinals is even more. He's lost over 2 seconds to the top. This may be the last run for Malcolm Stewart, who on paper was the favourite for the event. Certainly the car was the favourite.
We're looking at a time, it has to be in the 1:06 seconds to be considered a qualifier for the final. No, certainly Malcolm Stewart will be out.
1:09.15, and I think we have at least 2 people of the 4 who can do better than that. Is it going to be Trevor Crowe, Kim Austin, or Trevor Crowe, Neil Allport, or Kim Austin, Neil Allport? Only 2 can go through to the final. Neil Allport now. Now here's a man who responds to pressure very well indeed, as does his co-driver Roger Freeth. Dr. Roger Freeth, the man of motorcycle racing frame, just won at Bathurst a little while ago. A very good co-driver as well, has co-driven on international events. And he has an uncanny ability to be able to tell a driver where he's losing and where he's gaining time.
Yes, that was a better start for Neil Allport. In the previous times, he's actually bogged down a bit at the start. Got away cleanly that time.
And if there's any word that comes to mind when you talk about Neil Allport's driving, it is aggression. He has always been a very aggressive driver, in PDA escorts particularly.
Neil's previous best time to the top of the hill was 40.83. So we'll be looking for a time of 40 to 41 seconds to put Neil through to the final.
Yes, he got out of it nicely too.
Yes, well, he's right on cue.
This comes down to around, what, 1.6, high 6s?
Somewhere in the 1.6s.
Just have a look at him downhill. Just have a look at how hard Neil Allport drives this car. He really has got this downhill piece down to a T. 1.6.31. So Neil Allport is in at this stage. It remains to be seen whether Trevor Crowe or Kim Austin can put Neil Allport out.
Yes,
at the moment, Malcolm Stewart and Neil Allport are in, but only 2 have run.
Yes, Neil's not safe yet because both Trevor Crowe and Kim Austin were faster than that time of 1.631 on their previous run. So they're both capable of doing it, as we've seen them do it already today here.
Really does come down to pressure, and I can remember when this fellow turned up as an unknown a couple of years ago, you were making comment about the cold blue eyes. He doesn't really fade under pressure, does he?
No, he seems to love the pressure.
Kim Austin from Waitakaruru.
Kim has been here before. He knows about the problem with the sun. Cleaning his sunglasses.
The Chevette with a 308 Holden in it. And automatic transmission. No problems with gear changes off the line. And once again, spraying the water out of the radiator.
That could be a head gasket that's blowing, pressurizing the water system.
Doesn't seem to be affecting its power too much. Kim Austin's split time was 41.57. And even with a time of 41.57, he got down in 1.751.
41.24.
The last round to get into here, he did 1.616. .1915 is the time to beat at this stage, and he's done it. Well, the water's not spraying out underneath now, it's spraying out upwards. Kim Austin has overdone it.
Yes, well, this is one of the problems of the pressure on these drivers. They're looking for every last tenth of a second.
He's one we didn't expect to make mistakes under pressure, but it just goes to show how much that pressure shows.
Yes, motorsport is a very unforgiving sport. If this were golf, you'd be able to put down another ball and have another shot. But I'm afraid that Kim Austin is out of the competition today.
All of which is good luck for Malcolm Stewart at the moment, because he's still in, at least until Trevor Crowe runs.
So the car's back on its wheels again now.
That's the right way now. The car's just the right way. It's boarding again.
Both driver and co-driver are okay. That's the main thing. The car is not substantially damaged. A bit of a ding in the roof. And I would imagine they'll get it down to the bottom before too terribly long and get the track clear. Well, that's bad luck for Kim Austin, and obviously he's out, but it, in a funny sort of way, is very good luck for Trevor Crowe, because he's the last to run and he only has to beat 1915. Malcolm Stewart made a mistake and came down at 1915. So really it's very simple for Trevor Crowe. Having only to beat 19, he knows he's well capable of doing that without pushing himself or the car or taking any silly risks. He's normally a good man under pressure, and he will have sussed out exactly what he needs, because Neil Allport's done 16:31. He's definitely one finalist, and Trevor Crowe looks like being the other if he can beat 1915, which is Malcolm Stewart's time.
Well, just looking at Trevor Crowe coming up here, he's certainly not taking it easily. He's driving it as hard as he can. And 40.4 to the top corner.
That's the fourth fastest time of the day to the top corner.
Trevor Crowe very, very quick down the hill.
And with a time of 40 to the top, he's well and truly inside 1.7.
So I imagine also, Tony, that Trevor Crowe will be trying to put pressure on Neil Allport by posting a really quick time this time, and then sending Neil off first up the hill next time.
So a very costly mistake for Malcolm Stewart in the Audi Quattro, only posting 1915. That left Neil Allport at 1631, a definite qualifier for the final. And then Trevor Crowe came down and has now put all the pressure on Neil Allport with a 1509. And so to round 6, which of course is the final. Trevor Crowe. And so to round 6, which of course is the final. That's Neil Allport lined up on the line. Trevor Crowe was the fastest qualifier, and as such he gets the choice of going first or second. He has opted to let Neil Allport go up and try and beat his time, rather than go up himself and let Neil Allport beat his time. Neil Allport last time with a 1631, and we already know that Trevor Crowe can do 509.
Yes, Neil got a bit untidy back there, Tony. He might have just lost a second or two.
He's the 1983 winner of this event.
Neil's previous split at the top was 40.83.
41.52, so he had lost time. It doesn't really matter what he's posted before or what he posts in split times before. It's all irrelevant, because it only depends on this round. It is simply a case of Neil Allport posting a time and Trevor Crowe trying to beat it. 1674.
Yes, well, that time's good enough to keep Trevor Crowe honest in the final.
As we've already seen from the last run-up, Trevor Crowe's capable of better than that. Can he do it now, is the question. As is always the case in rally sprints, it comes down to whether or not the driver can respond and hang it all together now, at the time that it matters. Anything he's done previously is irrelevant. Trevor Crowe knows he's capable of a better time, but he knows he can't put a foot wrong in doing it. I'm going to be intrigued to see now if he can get to the top in under 40 seconds.
Yes, that's what we'll want to see. It'll also be interesting to see if he can bowl over Reg Cook's course record of 1 minute 4.96.
Be very surprised if that goes, but if anybody's going to do it, I think Trevor Crowe will today. Now, Trevor Crowe will know when he gets to the top what his split time is, just as quickly as we will. The co-driver will have a stopwatch there and will give him a split time. 42.5. And a good exit. And he's on target for 1.5. He may even can get in the low 1.5s. I think he's going to beat 1.674.
He could be on target for a course record.
There will be no more surprised person than Trevor Crowe himself if he wins this event. He did not expect to get past the round of 8. 1.472, new course record. 1.472 for Trevor Crowe. The Christchurch circuit driver has just broken Reg Cook's circuit record of 1.49. And that's the rally sprint. The 1985 Ashley Forest Dunlop Rally Sprint has been won by the Christchurch